So good morning from my home. This is my little home studio that I'm coming to you from this morning. I'm hoping that this works out and that we can do this once a day, have a yoga class at least available for those of you that are at home. So if you're joining me, I appreciate it, and I appreciate everyone's understanding as we walk through this difficult and uncharted passage. So just gather up what you need for your class. I have a blanket and a couple blocks here, but you could totally improvise at home with whatever you have at hand. It's been a stressful week, I'm sure, for everybody. So I think the best thing we can start our practice with is just finding our seat, finding the earth beneath us, and beginning to connect with our breath. So let's do that now. Just let your eyes close, let your shoulders soften, let your sit bones anchor down into the earth, finding that ever-present support. And begin to just observe your natural inhalation and exhalation, and notice how that breath quality is. Notice the depth, the volume. Notice the cadence. Notice where the breath is flowing in and out. And just be in the presence of your body and your breath for the next hour. So let's begin to bring some control into the breath, because it's our quickest way to really tap into that parasympathetic nervous system, our calming nervous system, right? So let's begin to isolate the breath coming in and out through the nose. Seal your mouth, and let's keep that intention throughout the class. Breathing in and out through the nose with just a subtle drag at the back of the throat. That's our Ujjayi breath, which we know can help to create some vibration there in the vocal cords, can stimulate the thyroid and the lymph nodes. So begin that breath, and it will also help us to slow down the breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose with the mouth sealed. And maybe a little samvriti, which is even turning breath. So whatever your natural inhalation, which is a good satisfying inhale, and you match your exhale to that. So if you inhale to a count of 4, let your exhale be also a count of 4, and so on. Allow the jaw to soften, the eyes to soften, the shoulders. Relaxing with each exhalation just a little bit more. So let's blink our eyes open, bring our hands to prayer at our hearts. I'm going to start each of my sessions with a Sanskrit blessing. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be healthy, happy, and free of suffering. And so it is. All right, let's begin our movement practice. As you inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, we'll just let that right hand drop down, the left arm come over. Take a couple nice deep breaths here. Maybe let the head move around as you gaze up and you gaze down. Keep the breath nice and slow and low, in and out through the nose. With your next inhale, you can sweep up, and as you exhale, let that other hand drop down, reaching up and over. Shoulders stacking. We let the rib cage move a little bit to the right as we reach to the left, and so forth. With your next inhale, we'll reach arms up, interlace your fingers, turn your palms up to the ceiling. Get a little stretch on the wrists. And finally, releasing the hands behind your back, interlace all fingers there, draw the knuckles down, lift the chest up. Keep a neutral neck here. Take a breath in to prepare as you exhale. Just let the chest drop down, let the arms move up, maybe even sway a little bit side to side, always finding your comfortable depth. We'll release the hands as we inhale next. We'll reach the arms up, and as we exhale, we'll twist to the right. Left hand on right knee, right hand behind. Shoulders soften down. Your gaze can start over your back shoulder, and then let's bring that gaze over the front shoulder to stretch the neck. Back over your back shoulder. As you inhale, both arms reach up. As you exhale, right hand, left knee, left hand behind, shoulders soften down. Take a deep inhale here. And as you exhale, take the gaze over the forward shoulder and back over the back shoulder. With your next inhale, we'll reach arms up. And as we exhale, we'll bring the hands through prayer and we'll transition into our tabletop position. I like a blanket under my knees, so if you have one available, pad it up, make yourself comfortable. Get into that tabletop, hands underneath the shoulders and your knees underneath the hips. From the side, you look like a block. And we're going to start with smaller cats and cows here, so I call them our kittens and calves. So like just a tiny little tuck of the tail, the back of the neck lengthens, the navel draws in. Not to our max. Then maybe just a baby calf where we let the belly drop, we let the chin reach forward, the shoulders slide back. And then continue a few more times, just letting that grow maybe a few percentages of angle until you grow it in slowly into your maximum. Exhaling as you round into the cat and inhaling as you lift through to cow toes. 2 more just like that. Exhaling round. Inhaling, let the belly drop, the heart slide forward. We drag back on the hands a little bit here. It gives you a little bit more in the rib cage. And now we're going to add on to that. So as we initiate that exhalation of the cat pose, we're going to bend the elbows and let the hips drop back for a child's pose. And as we inhale, the breath will draw us forward back into a baby cow tilt, right? A more neutral spine than the full cow tilt. On your exhalation, initiate from the tailbone, let the elbows soften down, everything rolls back, just like you're putting down the hood of a convertible. That's what one of my students likened that to. So maybe that'll help you. Inhale forward, exhale round the tail, elbows drop, shift it back, forehead drops. And finally, we'll inhale here and just come back into our tabletop. Taking a side body stretch, your right shoulder will draw toward the right hip, look back at the right heel. You'll inhale center, left shoulder will draw to left hip and look at the left heel. A little lateral flexion of the spine, side to side a few times. Inhaling in the center and exhaling out to the sides. And finally, coming to stillness here, we'll let those knees slide out a little wider, bring the toes to touch, sink the hips back. Walk your palms forward, coming into a child's pose for a moment. Reconnect with the breath. Ujjayi through the nose, even turning. Nice, steady breath. Let's take our palms to touch, bend our elbows and let the thumbs come to rest at the nape of the neck. Walk the elbows forward, let the heart melt down a little bit more here. And again, it's a great place to just feel the breath, expand the pose. Replant the hands down out in front of you and draw back up into your tabletop position. Send your right toes back, press the right toes onto the earth, and then just give it a nice little rocking forward and back to stretch into the calf. I like to try to even out between the pinky toe and the big toe. A couple times just like that, inhaling forward and exhaling back. And we'll lift that foot up. We'll take it behind us and across to the left side and gaze over the left shoulder as we kick through the left heel. Finally, bring that foot back around and set it on the ground right in line with the knee, setting up the arch of the foot with the alignment of the knee. We'll get a little rotation warm up here. So as you inhale, we'll reach the right arm up. As you exhale, spin down, hug the ribs. Inhale, reach up, lengthen. Exhale, spin down, hug the ribs. And last time, we'll inhale up. As you exhale, bind the arm, just letting the shoulder have a little help to open. Don't be aggressive. Just a nice gentle tug here, reversing some of the rounding we're all getting from our time on devices. We'll release the palms down, hand releases, knee draws in. One cat-cow between sides, and the left foot will reach back, sending the left toes a few times through that press and release to stretch through the calf. Come to neutral, lift the leg, take that left foot off the right edge of the mat, look back at the right foot and press through. Keep the shoulders as square as you can, integrity through the upper body. Let that foot lift and swing, taking it out to line up, arch with left knee. And now we'll do the same thing. We'll inhale, reach the arm up. Exhale, just hover under, hug the ribs. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, round in. And finally, one more, we'll reach up and we'll let that arm rest behind. Roll it open, get that little stretch through the shoulders. Release the palm, hands to mat, knee draws in. Take one more cat-cow here. And we'll walk the palms forward. I've got my blocks set up here in case I need them. It might be a good idea at this point. Your palms will be a little forward of the shoulders to transition into your down dog position. Middle finger at 12 o'clock, a little spread between the fingers, and then peeling the knees off the mat. At this point, you could take your blanket, just slide it away. Checking in for your down dog here, we want to make sure that our shoulders are separating away from the ears. We've got length in the back of the neck. Chin is dropping slightly. We're drawing the tailbone up towards the sky and letting the heels drop down. Good way to test the alignment of your down dog is by coming into plank pose. Making sure that in our plank, shoulders are over wrists, toes slightly in front of heels with heels kicking back. Check that the pelvis is not sagging, right? Draw up through the pelvis. Make sure the shoulders are not dipping. Press the arms out. Go-go gadget arms, I call them. Long spine. This is a great way now. From here, you should shift back and be able to keep hands and feet where they are. It creates an equilateral triangle when we do our down dog for most of us, from wrist to shoulder, and from wrist to hip, and from hip to ankle, I should say. All right, so from here, let's walk our hands and feet to the top of the mat and just dangle in our forward fold. Maybe a little sway side to side. Maybe you hold opposite elbows, opposite hands. Finding a little softness in the knees to help the low back find comfort. To come up, we're going to actively press into the earth. Let the chest lead the way. Reach the arms up. Lengthen. And as you exhale, hands to heart. Arms rest at the sides. Tadasana. Find your even standing. Right, mountain pose. We want feet hip distance apart, parallel. Let the shoulders stack over the hips over the ankles. Ideally, ear, shoulder, and ankle are going to be in a nice straight line. Work towards that. Strong core, drawing the breastbone and the pubic bone slightly toward each other to activate Uddiyana Bandha. Drawing up through the legs, Mula Bandha, chin tucking back, Jalandhara Bandha. We had a whole class on that a couple weeks ago. Next inhale, we'll reach up, lengthen, Hasta Tadasana. As you exhale, hips go back, heart goes down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, shoulders draw back. Stay here for a moment. Let this pose be a pose. Bringing the hips forward to align over the ankles, the shoulders pull back, the crown reaches forward. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, forward fold. On your inhale, actively pressing through the earth, reaching through the arms. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, reach and gaze. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's build on that. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, sit down, chair pose. Pulling the knees back in space, activating the quadriceps, shoulders soft and down. As you inhale, maybe let the arms drop and shift into tippy toes a little bit, or a little bit of a diver's pose, and then the hips and heels drop, arms reach up. We'll do that one more time, shifting weight to the toes, arms reach back, and then heels down, arms up. Inhale to stand. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step it back, plank pose. Options here, knees, chin and chest to lower, or chaturanga, tipping forward, elbows tight, tight core, lower, we melt it down. Either cobra or up dog, always engaging a little bit of that Uddiyana Bandha core lock. And then we'll exhale down, press through a push-up or through table, and hips back to the sky, shoulders backing down. I'm just going to rotate for a moment to give you a little workshopping here. In down dog, we don't want to swallow our ears here. So watch this movement of the shoulders. We want to draw the lats back, really activating the shoulder girdle to get space from the ear to the shoulder points. So I'll demonstrate that again, not here, but here. This can make all the difference in the comfort of the wrists and the shoulders in your down dog. So back to side view. From here, we'll take it into a warrior one. Gaze forward at your right thumb. You have the option to lift the foot, keep the hips square, or not lift the foot. Step it forward, right foot to right thumb. Left foot adjusts. We're on opposite sides of center for warrior one. Rise up. We got the front knee over the ankle, shoulders soften down, and then just connect with your breath. A couple nice, subtle, ujjayi, soft breaths here. Soft shoulders, soft breath. Look for the core engagement. And don't forget to smile. As you exhale, lean forward, arms reach back. Keep the rolling up and open of the shoulders. As you inhale, reach. As you exhale, lean. One more time, inhale. And as you exhale, this time, interlace, knuckles down. Take a little lean, and lean, and lean. Maybe just a small humble warrior if you're going to go deeper. Shoulder will come to rest just inside. Crown of the head is down. Releasing the hands down, reach back up. Warrior one. Taking hands to heart. Shifting the weight slightly into the right foot. We're going for a warrior three. Warrior three can be tiny, nice and strong. If you want to go deeper, just take it a little bit at a time. At the point where you cave, where the back foot dips, it's no longer therapeutic. It could even be injurious. So keep it strong. You decide all the way to the point of a T, hugging the standing leg hip, flexing the toes on the floating leg. Nice strong stance. This pose builds hip stability, right? Builds core strength. Focus. We'll let that land. Left foot will meet right. Take a moment, turn your toes out, your heels in, to drop into a squat pose. Just settle for a moment. This gives you and me a chance to catch our breath. We'll let the hands come down to the earth. Spin the toes to a line behind the wrists, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, arms come up, head comes up, sit it down, chair pose. Again, that little bit of a diver's pose. And heels down, arms up. And a diver's pose. And heels down, arms up. Inhale, stand. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold, step back, plank pose. Option here, just send it to dog if you do not want to vinyasa. Otherwise, choose your vinyasa and meet me up in dog. Left foot will reach to the left fingertips. Right heel drops down. We inhale to rise, warrior one position. Right hip drawing back, left hip, right hip forward, left hip back. Shoulders down and soft, pressing into the front foot. Big toe mound. As you exhale, lean forward. As you inhale, rise. And again. And rise. And last time, we'll lean in, bind with the opposite thumb in front, lift up through the heart, lean it out, humble warrior. Dristi is at the big toe of the back foot. Keep the neck long. Find your depth. Could have stopped here, right? Just be where is good for you today. We'll inhale, reach the arms up. As we exhale, hands to heart. Shift the weight. Left foot. Find your warrior three position. Balancing in. This leg is a little more challenging for me. Got some injury issues going on, so you'll see it. You'll see me navigate the difference between the two legs. I go in slower, more intentional. It takes more focus. Be with your body. Whatever limitations are presenting, use them as an opportunity for insight. And then finally we'll just land it down. Again, that nice little squat pose where you can release out from that intensity. Feel free to stay here. I'm going to demonstrate a crow pose. So for crow, I like to set my hands just about shoulder distance apart. Line my feet up so it's 1 foot's distance behind the wrist. Come up high on the tippy toes. Bend the elbows. 2 options for setting the knees high into the triceps, right into the armpits really, or grabbing from the outside. It's preference. I prefer right into the armpits. I get my gaze forward, get my arms strong, and then shift. Slowly shifting forward. Notice my head is lifted. I lift 1 toe, maybe just the other toe, maybe that's it. Maybe both toes come in. I get a lot of core strength to hover here. Play with it. Have a sense of humor. Or hang out in your malasana. Be happy. Couple breaths to recover. And then hands come down, hips come to the sky. If you've traveled from the forward part of your mat, get back there. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plank pose. Let's exhale straight to down dog this time. Right leg to right fingertips. Left heel down, warrior 2. Heel to heel alignment or heel to arch. We've got that nice long line of the shoulders relaxed. Peaceful warrior. Side angle. Let's stay with elbow to knee, arm reaching overhead. And let's get a couple of rotations through with the arm. Stretching through, really feel the extension. And reverse. Bind it, left arm behind. And then send it back, reverse triangle, bound arm. Notice the hips, right? Aligning the hips and shoulders now. Setting up for Trikonasana. I bring my back foot in just a tiny bit between warrior 2 and Trikonasana. You might want to try that. Shift it back, hand down. Shoulder releases back a little bit more. Top ribs stay long, bottom ribs long. And then the left arm reaches up. You could gaze up, you could gaze down. Try not to brace for dear life. Great place to shift a block into play. We'll bend into our warrior 2 to release. Sending it into a half moon pose. Now if you've got a block, the block is great. Thumb in line with pinky toe. Pinky toe, thumb, so that when we step forward, right, we want to be out about the distance of a block, 12 to 18 inches. Shift off, hand to hip. Start to open it up. If you don't have a block, you could bring a chair in, have it ready. Or you can just, it can be done from the ground, it's just a little bit harder. We'll bend the knee, land back into our warrior 2. Nice. We'll cartwheel our hands down, step it back, plank pose. Take a nice deep breath in, and we will vinyasa through this time. Exhale to lower, inhale, lift, and exhale back, down dog. And we'll do this other sequence standing, and then we'll be taking it down to the mat. So left foot, left fingertips, right foot spins down. I'm setting it up. Before I come up, you saw that adjustment, warrior 2. Arms are out, breath is easy, core engaged, and I'm smiling with my angels behind me. Release it back, peaceful. Keep that front knee honest. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, side angle. Keep the body long, and then reach it through. Reach it through. And reverse it a couple times. Bind it. We'll give this a chance to open up through the shoulder, and then we'll send it back. Triangle pose, slight adjustment of the foot, and breathe. From reverse triangle, arm reaches long. We start to shift the pelvis. Align, pause, align again. Release. Sometimes I just even let my hand help me to find length in the lower ribs. And then Trikonasana. Nice long ribs. Body is easy in the pose, right? So find a place of ease. Sukha. Bend the knee. Come on into warrior 2. Cartwheel. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't cartwheel. You got to do the Ardha on this side. So getting the block, sending it out in front. It's ideally for your half moon pose, armpit to hip to ankle to thumb is a rectangle. And that's geometry of the body, it's physics, right? So we don't overweight the hand. Eventually you should be able to float the hand on the block. Flex the toes towards you and smile. Bend the knee, land in warrior two. Find your footing. Take a breath in. As you exhale, hands down. As you inhale, plank pose. As you exhale, lower down. As you inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale back to down dog. Nice little flow. We're going to take it down to the ground now. And we'll come over the knees. Take a child's pose, knees wide, toes touch. Sink the hips back, rest. 5 Ujjayi breaths here. And then we'll walk the hands back, coming up into a seat. From your comfortable seated position, we're going to take it right into our butterfly pose. Feet touching, wiggle side to side. This is a great place also if you have blocks at home. You don't want so much intensity in the inner thigh. You can help the legs with a little propping. We'll draw in through the feet, interlacing the toes, and then just come forward, hinging through the hips. I like to keep long here instead of rounding so much. Heart reaches forward, and I just lean it into that comfortable stretch. Several breaths. Great. Let's inhale to lift. Open the legs wide. So for wide leg, again, this is a place where if you do have a blanket and you have a little backward tilt in the pelvis, the blanket under sit bones can help to tilt the pelvis forward, make it a little more comfortable. You can also soften the knees. From here, we're going to take a side bend, right hand down, left arm over, and just lean into it, keeping that press of the rib cage to the left as you reach over toward the right. Shoulders stacking. And shift, press from the earth, switch sides, left hand down, right hand behind the head. Press the ribs to the right as you reach the right elbow up and over. And then we'll release that out. We'll inhale up. And as we exhale, just walk it forward. Same rule applies here. I just lean into it till I feel a nice little stretch in the hamstrings and the inner thighs. Great, let's bring it back up. Bring those legs together. Take your right leg, keep it extended, left leg comes over the top. From there, we'll draw the heart forward to get set up for a twist. Inhale, reach arms up. And as you exhale, turn toward the left, hugging the left thigh towards you. Back hand is for lengthening the spine, so keep length. Several Ujjayi breaths to create compression into the visceral organs. And we'll just take a little counter twist the other way. And coming back to neutral, the left leg extends, the right leg pulls in. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist, hug it in. Take several breaths here, gazing over the back shoulder to the level of comfort. Perfect, release it out, little counter twist. And then coming back around, we're going to take it onto our backs, hoping that you'll still be able to see me. Yes, perfect. So from a back position, notice I removed the ponytail because for bridge pose, I don't want that in the way. Get your feet so that they're hip distance. Maybe you can even touch the feet. I look for a vertical shin, lengthen the back of the neck. We don't want anything underneath the neck at this point. From here, take a little breath in. As you exhale, engage the core lightly. On your next in-breath, press evenly into the feet to lift the hips. You can see that this opens up the shoulders, right? We're pressing in, the back of the neck is long. So if your chin is lifted, lift up and then lengthen the back of the neck, reset. We want this to be working into the back of the neck. drawing those thighs so that they're parallel. And then you might be able to soften the glutes a tiny bit, right? Just keep the core engagement, quadricep engagement. Take several more deep breaths here. And then we'll slowly, one vertebrae at a time, lower it down, letting the tailbone be the last thing down. Passive rest. Just do nothing for a moment. And we'll take it to a reclining pigeon. Left foot, right thigh. Left thigh presses away. Right foot leaves the mat, and we reach behind the right thigh to draw in. Get a little stretch into the left hip, piriformis. Nice release. This top leg, just let it relax. Maybe rock a little bit side to side or make some circles with that right knee on the ceiling. We'll switch sides. Right foot drops, left foot lands. Right ankle on left, and the left thigh draws in. Once you've got a hold on that, you can make some movements or stay still. Whatever feels best for you. Make sure that top foot is just relaxing down. And we'll release that side out, letting both feet come down to the earth. We'll take the feet as wide as our mat and then just slow windshield wiper side to side. There goes a pop. And then finally we'll bring it in. Hug our knees into the chest, a nice little squeeze in. And then the knees will release. We'll take an inhale, arms extend, hand on each knee. Exhale, draw them in. One more inhale out and exhale in. And then we'll release the knees, grab the outside edges of the feet, the shins or the backs of the knees to come into a little happy baby pose. Feet will touch, we'll drop them to the mat, reclining butterfly, just for a breath or two. And then finally just lengthen the legs out, toes turn out. I like to wiggle and shimmy to get even in the back body. Let the palms turn up. Let the face relax, eyes closed, setting up for the most important pose of all. Repose, Shavasana. Letting the shoulders melt down, shimmy and shift. Chin is slightly tucked. Could always bring a blanket in under the head or under the knees. And again, close your eyes and just be with the breath. Observe the body. Allow the hands to soften. The arms, the shoulders, the neck. The belly is soft. Organs even sinking back to the back body. Hips and pelvis heavy. The legs relax. Maybe let the tongue soften in the mouth. Eyes drop back in the sockets. And just rest for the next few seconds here. Begin to make our way out of Shavasana, slowly moving fingertips and toes. Walk the feet in. Make your way into a comfortable side position to rest. Use your hands and your breath to come up to a comfortable seat. I'm going to read a passage from Jeff Foster as a closing for today's class. This is called The Rupture and the Repair. First there is the rupture, and then there is the repair. Old pain resurfaces, erupting from the depths of our unconscious. The status quo, our old sense of security, shatters into a billion pieces. We feel disoriented, groundless, scattered, not knowing where to turn. An old world has crumbled. A new world has not yet formed. Have we lost each other? We encounter the strange space of now, pure presence, raw, birthing us here, unprotected by old dreams, nothing to cling to, nothing to grasp. Even our outdated concepts of God can crumble to dust. And then we remember to breathe, and we feel our feet on the ground, and we observe the spinning mind rather than losing ourselves in it. Our world is out of control, but perhaps we are not. We feel what we feel, afraid, angry, numb, sad, lonely, unsafe, safe, whatever. We commit to feeling it fully today, to not dissociating from it this time. A feeling is just a feeling, not a fact, and presence can hold it, and we are stronger than we know. We wail, weep, scream, but we are repairing, my love. We have broken to heal, ruptured to mend, shattered to be whole. Old energies have emerged now to be blessed with love, acceptance, tenderness, forgiveness, and understanding. We can't go back to the way things were. We must let the old security die. It was no security for us anyway. We cannot unsee what we have seen, but we can be present with each other today, and we can take each step consciously now, not automatically, habitually, but mindfully, slowly, with care, with listening, and with open hearts. We can flush this rupture with awareness. We can stay close in this time of vulnerability. We cannot go back, but we can go present. We can go closer to ourselves. Let us walk this pathless path now, together and alone, with courage and new conviction. For this rupture is only a signpost, a mindfulness bell, and our path of repair is more intelligent than we can fathom now. We will get through this. It is written in the stars. First there is the rupture, and then there is the repair. Jeff Foster. Thank you for joining me today. Be well. Loka samasta sukhi no bhavantu. Namaste.